Hello, are you going on vacation anytime soon? It's vacation season here as I'm recording this, which means as much as it means a lot of fun ahead, it sometimes means a lot of sitting to get to that place. So whether you are traveling by train, by plane, by automobile, I have some things that you can do from a seat to keep that body moving before you get to your destination. So here are a few things you can try. If you're on an airplane, you won't want to do this unless you're able to take your seatbelt off, because it would be best to sit up, probably on the edge of whatever seat you have. Tray table would need to be up, of course. I would start with some neck exercises, which would just be taking the neck from side to side, and then pausing for a few breaths on one side, pausing for a few breaths on the other side. You could also then bring one ear towards a shoulder and hold there for a few breaths, likewise doing on the other side. So that's something for a little neck warm up. Then I'd move down to the shoulders, some nice circles. One way, maybe a few the other way, maybe one shoulder at a time. See how that feels? Then you can bring your hands to the tops of your shoulders, elbows about shoulder height, opening and closing. So a few things for your shoulders. Lower down. Some shakeouts are always good. Then maybe a nice side body stretch would feel good. Again, you can sit like in a regular seat, but you might lift your arm up and over. If the arm gets tired, resting the arm on your head. I would say on the top of your head as opposed to the back. We don't need to spend too much more time in that position. Keeping your pelvis rooted evenly. If you come up, it's not going to hurt you, but you're just going to have less of a stretch. And then of course coming the other way for a few breaths. Coming down. A seated twist is always a good idea. I like to offer my students to take a big breath in and really try to grow out through the crown of your head before you take a twist. And you could flow back and forth for a bit before you pause and hold. A few breaths one side, a few breaths the other side. So we've done some shoulder movement, some neck movement, we've taken a little twist, we've added a side body stretch, and then you could add some seated cow-cats. And I'll take those straight ahead so that you can see. Sitting up nice and straight, hands resting lightly. For your cow, you'll roll your shoulders back. You'll spread the collarbone area wide. Maybe the gaze lifts. And then to come into your cat, you'll spread the shoulder blades wide. Maybe you draw your navel in slightly and let your gaze drop. And you can take a few rounds of that. And maybe you'd like to linger in your cat or linger in your cow. So that's some forward folds and some back bends, all in a seat. Moving on down, we can do a little hip work here. Figure 4 or seated pigeon. Crossing one leg over the other. Try not to maybe rest right on the knee. Maybe you bring the lower leg a little bit more onto the thigh. See how that outer hip feels. If it feels all right, staying right there for several breaths. Maybe flexing the foot, meaning drawing the toes towards the shin. Maybe if you stay here for a bit and it feels okay, you could gently press your hand on that thigh. And then after time, uncross, maybe a little swishing before you move to side 2. Same idea, and if you notice, there's a big difference, isn't there, between my one hip and the other hip, but just something good to notice. So you could spend several breaths there. Just some brief suggestions on things that you can do as you are traveling to your vacation destinations. Happy travels and happy yoga.